right, Mr. Cleary, thanks for coming in today and speaking to the folks at home and on the internet. If you could let the voters know, what's your priority for running for 5th District Supervisor, and what accomplishments have you been able to achieve that makes you prepared to go ahead and serve on the Board of Supervisors?
Okay, well, I've been a businessman for 31 years, and I really want to bring my skills as a business person to the county. I think the priority right now for the county should be creating jobs. And I think that that's something that I've done quite extensively, actually. I now have 36 people working for me, and down at Lost Coast Communications, which you would know as KHUM or KSlug or KXGO or The Point, depending on your musical preferences. I've doubled the number of jobs over the last 7 years. I've also run the North Coast Co-op and helped get the finances straight there. And I've also been involved with the Headwaters Fund Board as one of the original board members, and also for the last 4 years as the chairman of the board. Done a lot of economic development, really spent a lot of time trying to create jobs in new areas like grass-fed beef, in the wine industry, and then also trying to preserve jobs with the fishing industry. So I think that I bring probably the most experience from that perspective of any of the candidates, and I think I can make a contribution.
And what would you say your vision is for economic development in Humboldt County?
I think that we really can have good, well-paying jobs and preserve the environment at the same time. In fact, I think it's critical that we do both of them. The key to economic success, I think, in Humboldt County right now is to expand our high-speed broadband or internet capacities here. We pretty much have only one fiber optic cable coming into the county right now, and that's the equivalent of having one road in and out of a place. When that road goes down, we lose access to the external world. We lose our internet, we lose our credit card processing, we lose our long distance phone calls. And that's not going to allow any high-tech company in their right mind to locate here, because they're going to need to have that backup. I've been working for the last 2.5 years on a project to bring the internet across Highway 36. I think that project is pretty much financed right now and should be done by next June. But we need to keep expanding those sorts of options and bringing more roads, more internet roads into the county, so that we can create high-tech jobs, because there are a lot of people who would love to live in Humboldt County and be able to work.
You mentioned land use, of course. The general plan the county's been developing, some say for far too long, is winding its way towards completion. Where do you come down on what seems like a tug of war between those who want more infill in the establishment communities versus those who want to be able to build more in our rural areas, especially way up there in the 5th District?
Yeah, I mean, I think that even Plan A does provide for some building out in the rural areas. There's almost 2,000 units that would be provided for under Plan A. You know, I pretty much come out to a cross between Plan A and Plan B, depending on the specific issues. But I think that's prudent financially. I mean, if you look at where the county is financially right now, we don't have the money to maintain the roads out in the rural areas. We don't have the money for the police to be out in those rural areas. So we have to, from a financial prudency point of view, concentrate on infill. It makes the most economic sense for the county in order not to bankrupt us. I do think that so long as we are able to upgrade our water and sewer systems, that an infill strategy makes sense. But I think that we have to be talking about infrastructure as part of that.
How do you think those public safety resources are being allocated? Obviously, the sheriffs have avoided kind of deep cuts some of the municipal police departments are looking at, but some say that's not going to last for long. How do you come down on where public safety is and where it should be in Humboldt County?
You know, especially for the 5th District is almost entirely dependent on the Sheriff's Department. Now that Blue Lake is covered on the Sheriff's Department, it looks like Trinidad is going to subcontract with the Sheriff's Department as well. So you really, I mean, the Sheriff's Department is critical to the 5th District. The sheriffs, the deputy sheriffs at this point are generally underpaid. They make less than their counterparts in most of the cities, and they have a much harder job. They have to cover territory the size of the state of Rhode Island. and they travel quite a bit. So I think that's a critical area that we have to try to avoid cutting. And I think that actually one of the problems with the budget right now has been understaffing, that they've been unable to keep good deputies because of the fact that they can go work for Arcata or Eureka and make more money. So there's a lot of turnover in the Sheriff's Department. And I think actually if we can pay a decent wage to the deputy sheriffs, we actually would cut down on the turnover, we'd cut down on the overtime. I think that we would have a more cost-effective approach to that.